Добрый день. This is the second video on the structure to have expressed in Russian. In the first video we said that every single time you have an English sentence that uses the verb have in any tense, in any form, you have to be connecting it to u, the preposition u in Russian, because that's the only way to express the idea of having in Russian with u. And once you put u as your first word, which it's going to be, you need to follow with the genitive case right after it. And right now we're memorizing the genitive case forms of personal pronouns. And make sure, please, to read them correctly. So I put the stress here. Unstressed ye is e. Yo is always stressed. That's why I didn't mark it. So у меня, that will be I have. У меня, у тебя, у него, that g is always pronounced as v at the end of words. У него, у нее, so this is e and this is yo. У нее, у нас, у вас, у них. And then we looked at this sentence. I have a sister. So again, every single time I keep repeating it, hoping you'll remember. Every single time you have a sentence in English that uses the verb have, it needs to be translated with u, and u needs to be translated with the genitive case. So if it's I have, у меня, if it's you have, у тебя, he has, у него, and so on. So у меня, to say I have a sister, positive affirmative sentence, у меня есть. To say I don't have a sister, we will be saying у меня нет. So the negative sentence is not the focus of this chapter. We will be looking at this later, but for now just know that you will not be saying не есть, you will be changing this word to нет. A sister, сестра, again the stress is on a, this is и, это и, у меня есть сестра. That's how you say I have a sister. I have a brother, у меня есть брат. I have a car, у меня есть машина. I have a house, у меня есть дом, and so on. So this word is the subject of the sentence. Remember, by me, there is, and then the noun. So this noun won't change, it's straight from the dictionary. You don't have to make any changes to it unless you want to make it plural. And then the first part of the sentence won't change. You'll just make this noun plural. One note here, if you ask questions, just a reminder, in English you add auxiliary verbs, helping verbs, you change the word order. In Russian we don't do any of that. We just put a question mark in writing and we read it with a rising intonation. So to say, do you have a brother? У тебя есть брат? So the same u, the same genitive case of pronouns, the same есть, and then the noun in the nominative case. У тебя есть брат? So one thing is that your book is going to tell you есть is not always used. And it's a little bit confusing here because there are no strict, clear rules about when Russians use есть and when they don't use есть. In questions, definitely use есть. In affirmative statements, sometimes you will notice that Russians skip есть. And the guideline, and it's a guideline, not a rule, because it will work sometimes, usually, but not always. The guideline is that if your noun does not have any describing words with it, no adjectives like this, no numbers, then we do include есть because the focus is on having, on stating some new information for the first time. So у меня есть семья. But if the noun that I'm presenting comes with adjectives, with numbers, we often skip that есть because the focus shifts to the describing word, what kind of family. У меня маленькая семья. So again, that's a guideline. For now, don't worry about when you use it, when you don't use it. Use it in questions always. But in affirmative statements, if you skip it, it's okay. But using it is probably safer. And the last note that your book has is that the structure u plus genitive case is used only with people. When we talk about inanimate nouns like cities, for example, or places like that, we use prepositional case with prepositions. So в Лас-Вегасе есть, and then the rest. And that's gonna be it. Это все. До свидания.